And welcome to a brand new episode of the 60-Second Car. My name is Dan, and I'm joined by the lovely Daniel, when we're going to talk today about so many different lovely minutes and now a fast-paced, high-octane, super-duper action and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Play that music!
60-Second Car.
And we're back! Welcome back to the 60-Second Car. Hi, Daniel. How are you?
Doing swell. How are you?
We were talking about how I think it should be called, and I think maybe Doug did mention this, and maybe he's coined the term "going ghost protocol" whenever somebody's being shady or putting their hood up or whatever it might be.
I think it was just putting on a hood, like just wearing your hoodie up.
Going ghost I guess that is what he does in Mission. Tom Cruise does in Mission Impossible.
I'd have to believe you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so Katie and I were talking about this, and the new movie came out, and she asked me, because she has no interest, she's like, do you want to go see this? I was like, I think it would be interesting to see, because we kind of see everything. But also, you need to watch like 4 or 5 movies to actually understand what's happening, so that's probably not worth it. We should probably skip this one. Well, because so the first 3, maybe even 4, are kind of their own movies. And then it starts a different story arc from there. When Simon Pegg and the rest of their little crew join the crew, that's when they start to actually have an identity. Sort of how the Fast and the Furious works. Because you have the story in 1, and then you have a totally different story in 2, and then you have a totally different story in 3, and then 4 starts to kind of get the group together in a way, and that's when they kind of kick off into the saga, right? The first few movies don't really make a whole lot of sense. That's kind of how the Mission Impossible movies go, in my opinion.
Well, how many are there? Are there 6, 7?
There's got to be. I think it's honestly 8.
Good for them.
How many mission? Because there's a lot.
Do you always look stuff up online like you're using Ask Jeeves in 2001, where you have to word it like a question?
So when I'm looking, so yes, sometimes, most of the time I would even say, because when you ask the questions how people do that, it usually gives you exactly what you're looking for instead of having to scroll a little bit. So
all right,
because you have, especially, so I really only do it if it's a really common thing. If it's something I feel some weird film nerds put together a list about, then that's probably the first thing that's going to come up. So yeah, I mean, during that. Other than that, not really. Mission Impossible 2, Mission Impossible 3, Ghost Protocol is 4, Rogue Nation is 5, Fallout is 6. And then, so I guess this one is 7. The newest one is 7.
What's this one called?
Fallout?
7 is... You just said... Anyway.
Huh?
Fallout is 7.
Sorry. It's, what the heck is it called? It's not called Fallout, is it? No, it's not Fallout. The new one, it's it's Dead Reckoning. Right.
Oh, of course.
Because Ethan Hunt's probably going to die. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully he dies. I don't know. He should have been dead a million times.
Yeah.
Because thinking of okay, so in a lot of this stuff, and I think this ties well into the Fast and the Furious too. And we're going to go back to something Doug said, because while I don't agree with everything Doug Benson always talks about, him and I do agree on 2 different things, majorly. 1, we definitely have to do away with the de-aging stuff. It just has to stop. Even if they do a really, really good job, you can always get a younger actor to play it. It gives another actor a great opportunity to do some cool stuff. Anyway, 2nd is they gotta stop beating heroes to the ultimate bloodiest pulp, to where they should have been dead about 10 times before they rise up and become the hero. We don't need that anymore. We never needed that. I mean, come on, man. It's so much. The people get beat the heck up.
You want them dead.
You want them dead? Yeah, I mean, dead. So there's a new Roadhouse coming out. And how they're gonna do up the original Roadhouse. First of all, you should never really redo Roadhouse. That's just stupid. But how they're gonna redo or do up Roadhouse when, you know, the main character basically dies like so many times, or at least he gets, what, doesn't he get buried alive in that movie or something?
I've never seen Roadhouse. I'm very sorry.
It's a crazy movie. It's insane. But
that's basically all I know about it.
It's about a doorman who is legendary across the world and is a great super fighter. that's the movie, man.
I'm so tired of having to list my top 5 doormen from around the world.
Right, exactly. But today we are talking about minute 24 of The Fast and the Furious. Where do we start with this?
Well, I mean, my first note is basically something I keep coming back to about all the time that goes into perfectly parking all their cars everywhere they go. Mm-hmm. So as, you know, the police scanner went off and the cops are coming, everyone starts scattering. They start doing all these aerial shots where the cars are just perfectly backed up and they're all slowly beginning to leave because the cops are coming, and the choreography of the cars and how they line the street had to take forever, even in the world. Like, look at this. Mm-hmm. This is beautiful. This is like when you're queuing up at the end of Autopia, how all the cars are perfectly there. They're perfectly spaced out. There's probably some like kid who isn't being paid enough in a sunburn who's telling you like when to stop. Don't hit the car in front of you.
Been on Autopia.
It's like really rough go-karts and bumper cars you're not supposed to bump.
Right.
And it smells like gasoline.
Should Autopia? So these are, for those wondering, these are Disneyland rides, and while I'm not the hugest fan of Disney in general, just as a company, I do love me some Disneyland. And Daniel also loves some Disneyland, and we've been there together before. So you know your rides, and I have to ask, and this one of these rides, actually both these rides I've never been to. So my question is, does Autopia need to exist?
Nope.
Now that the Cars ride exists?
Nope. They should bulldoze Autopia and put 3 rides there.
It's pretty big.
It's so big. It's so much wasted space for a very boring ride. Like, maybe it's because I'm an adult and it might be for kids, but like, it's going in a slow car through basically an ad. Well, at one point I remember going on, it was brought to you by Honda. So they had that weird white robot just kind of off to the side. You know, the one.
Oh, the one that makes the cars? Like the arm?
No, it was like a humanoid shape, and it was just a white robot with like a blank face. I thought they were in ads for a while, and maybe it was Honda, maybe it was Hyundai, or I don't know. It doesn't matter. But some car company was sponsoring it, and yeah, it uses actual gasoline, and it smells like exhaust, and it's
Wait,
loud.
the cars run on gas? They're gas engine cars?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds dangerous. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe that's why you're not supposed to bump them. But yeah, the Cars ride, even though I'm not a huge fan of cars, is a fantastic ride. And maybe they have the little Cars ride because they don't have that in Disneyland proper because it's in California Adventure. But, you know, you'll go there.
Yeah, I guess that's my big question is like, what is the thought process between choosing which cars need to stay and put in between both parks? Because I enjoy a park hopper just because a lot of the times I just like to go over because it's way more chill in the California Adventure Park, and they also serve alcohol and beer and stuff like that, so I can just go hang out for a little bit. So I enjoy hanging out over there, but at the same time I don't care to ride too much over there. And then does that thought process come in for the what do they call them, the Imagineers, when they want to say, well, do we want both these car rides here because the repetition doesn't matter considering more people? I guess the real question is there enough people that only go to one park at a time, or even just only Disneyland, to where they don't really care what the crossover might be?
Part of my actual thought about why they don't close Autopia is because it's in Tomorrowland, and Tomorrowland sucks right now. Like, you've got Space Mountain, you have Star Tours, you have the Buzz Lightyear thing, You have, I guess, astral orbiters, and then it's like a lot of wasted space and churro stands.
Star Tours is still banging. It's always, but a lot of those places don't have long lines.
Yeah. I mean, Space Mountain kind of always does.
Well, that's one of my favorite rides, if not my favorite ride.
Oh, and there's also the Nemo submarine ride. You could take that out too and put actual cool
That thing's
shit in
always
there.
broken anyway.
Yeah. It's probably always leaking. But I think because there's already like enough voids going on in that land that if they took out 2 more things, it would be even more painful to be there.
Yeah.
So, if they close those down, put more focus in the Star Wars land more than there already is, maybe they could figure something out, but it would just be construction for so long.
That might be their holdup,
Yep.
because Tomorrowland became Star Wars for a long time, and now that they have Galaxy's Edge, who cares about Star Wars there anymore?
It's more weird that Star Tours is over there, but
Yeah. They're going to get rid of it eventually, I think.
probably.
But yeah, I mean, that is. I wonder if how many people or how many kids are like, I love the Fast and the Furious. I'm going to pretend I'm in the Fast and the Furious while in Altopia.
That's what I'm going to do now. All right, you inspired me to go back. We got to go back. All right. So
Race for
somehow
pinks.
that becomes Supercharged 2 or something.
Yeah.
When
yeah,
Disney
yeah.
inevitably buys everything else, so then Universal's also Disney, so they can work it in that way.
Yeah. There you go.
So coming back to this minute, there's Vince looking sweaty and running away.
Yeah. So right at the beginning of this minute, Leon has already said cops. So there's like a few seconds of like them actually scattering to their cars. You have Mia doing the same thing.
She carpooled. That's one of
She
my
did
notes.
carpool, which is
Yeah.
rare. Oh, because we have the stunt driver, I think, in this image here. Michelle Rodriguez's stunt driver that she's about to jump in the car with. Because I don't think that's her.
I would think not. No.
Yeah. You got Jesse running. Just a Jesse ass run.
Yep.
Dom makes it to his car. He jumps in. That's in the middle of the road. You have the same thing. You have Brian jumping into his car after he sees all that. So, okay, what is going through Brian's head at this point?
Yeah, I have a note here that he kind of takes a beat. He hears the cops coming, and I wonder if he thinks his cover might be blown. Because again, you watch this for the first time, you don't know he's a cop yet, but
Right.
he's taking this weird knowing kind of pause here. So this would be more reason for people to think this guy's a cop because cops are coming. He's like, oh, cops. I know them. I wonder if it's my friends.
Yeah, I guess in that, it really takes the whole thrill out of what happens next here when you find out that he is a cop, because it's like, so we already know Brian's he's locked in. He's about the life already, right? We've already decided that.
Yeah.
But he goes back and he goes to well, there's the chase here and stuff like that, but he goes to try to save Dom. But if you're Brian, you're thinking to yourself, what happens if I get caught? Nothing's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not risking anything. Let's just go get him. I'll earn the trust. It'll be fine.
Yeah, theoretically, he should hop in his car, get on a walkie, and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go pick up Don. You guys take any road but the one I'm going on."
Yeah.
But what you see in other minutes, that's not what happens.
Right. So we do have a screen here, which was exactly what you're talking about. There's so much organization in this drive-away, this break, that it's so crazy.
There's an overhead shot that I wonder if you got a screen of it. That's towards that exact one. So on the right side of this is for the live viewers, YouTube folks. There's just a perfect line of cars making a right turn as cops come in on that same road and go left and right. They could have blocked the street, made it so these cars can't leave, but no, because it's movie magic, you're not really supposed to focus on these things. But because we're looking at this a minute at a time, we have to. Just all those cars, they might as well be signaling.
Yeah, so the craziest thing, too, is the cops come in on 2 very specific lanes. If these guys are that organized to all be hitting this exact thing, don't you think they'd try to come in from all sides?
Mm-hmm.
Because like
Yeah.
from the bottom left and the middle right, those are the two lanes they're coming from. That's it. Those two streets
Yeah.
are coming from. There's so many other streets that they can just kind of pincer. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
If
about.
this was a quarter mile, they could have come at it from every angle and trapped a lot of these guys, unless they want to like battering ram out and fuck up their cars.
Yeah, which is probably another reason why they didn't block off anything, right?
They're just leaving so calmly. Oh god, the
Yeah.
cops.
Also, like, so there's a lot of cops here.
Is this every cop in LA?
It's probably not even close to every cop in LA. But you have Leon. Everybody seems to get away pretty easily. I've noticed, because they all kind of end up. But I mean, just to talk about the pure like movie making of this. These must be all their drivers in their cars. That makes the most sense. They're not stunt drivers, but they're like, we need everybody to drive a certain direction. I wonder what sort of rehearsal or organization they had to have had gone through to do all this. Obviously, all these guys know how to drive, like, right? That's why they're there. But to imagine putting that together is crazy.
Yeah, maybe they got minimal direction of just like one car after the other, stay in line. But like for this to actually look better, it should have been like, all right, you guys know how not to run into people, right? Light chaos, drive with light chaos. But you know, you can't really do that and on the legal side of things and insurances. So all these
insurance
cars
would probably shoot up for something like that. Yeah.
perfectly in the lines on the road.
Yeah. They're just like, oh, we're just gonna, we're just driving, officer. I'm just driving. I'm not doing anything illegal.
Look like they're leaving a concert.
So my question for anybody that knows the legality of this, is it illegal to be parked on the side of the road while other people are racing? Because like, are they scattering out of solidarity, or are they just running from the cops for no reason?
Should they theoretically? Well, I don't think know if you can arrest somebody for. I don't know if you can arrest somebody for not calling the cops on someone committing a crime. But is this one of those crimes?
I couldn't sit here and confidently tell you that anybody other than the people racing were committing any crimes. I don't know. But yeah, we have this shot. There's a bunch of stuff that happens after this, but this scattering, is there something that happens at the beginning here? No, it's just the cops, right?
Was this a trap? Like, do you think this was a setup by Brian, or is this like, was there actually a murder at that liquor store or whatever?
That is the weird question, huh? Because
It's so it's so organized how everybody pours in, everybody pours out,
Yeah.
but like how many cars there are, this had to be a trap.
there are a lot of cops that all show up at the same exact time for something that is really not that big of a deal, right?
Also,
This
different
isn't
cars. Like, there are so many different cop cars.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean, there's not a bank robbery. Nobody's getting killed here. No, but there's not like a bunch of drugs being sold here or anything. Like, to have this much organization, it has to be planned, right? Like, otherwise, it just looks off. I don't know. Why are they all paying so much attention to a street race that is already done, by the way? They're not racing anymore.
They're coming at the end of illegal gambling, maybe reckless driving, but the roads actually they were very well organized in making sure there was not pedestrians or other cars getting in the way of their street race. It's probably less reckless than the scattering.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
Thank you.
In these scenes here, these cops are roaring around these corners and they're sliding, right? They're drifting around these corners like crazy. What if the people here who are just here observing the street race hadn't gotten in their cars yet? They could just be taking people out left and right.
What if like somebody who lived a block away heard all the cars and just walked over, and then they're just like on the sidewalk going, "Oh God, people are coming!" Cop takes them out.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, and now the cop has 3 manslaughters on their record.
And like
Yeah, it's a lot.
Everyone that's scattered, I mean, were the cops just going to shoo them away? Were they planning on? They don't have paddy wagons. I don't think they're going to arrest everybody who's watching. So, what was their plan? So many plans. What were they?
Yeah, there's a whole lot that I don't, that now watching this again, because watching it, for the first time in the movie, it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. There's just, a big cop chase, and we're not seeing anybody getting caught or anything. But now, yeah, you think about this, you're like, why is this happening this way? And it goes back to like Brian's face when he hears the cops. It was this set up, right? Who knows what the heck is happening here? It's very possible that this was his plan to get Dom's trust, but like, was it?
Seems like an expensive plan.
Yeah, right?
Your tax dollars at work, guys, right there.
Yeah, also, what time is it? How are there this many cops on duty?
This doesn't seem like a severe enough thing to call in every cop for, like, a serial killer manhunt, maybe, but like this thing, nah.
Yeah, it's just a street race, man. And I understand that they probably have a big problem with this at this time, and that's their whole theme, is like they're trying to crack down on the street racing, but like, let's be honest. Most of them you can't do anything to. Like the majority of these people, in fact, the very vast majority of these people, you're not going to do anything to. You only, and so chasing everybody down doesn't make any sense.
I guess if they think Dom is here and they know him and his crew are responsible for the thefts of the Panasonic truck, there's some grand theft potential there, and this is like how they pick him up. But that even feels like a stretch. But I mean, that's why Brian's there. So
yeah, we do know that Brian is put here as like, in cooperation with the FBI, right? Is that who that guy works for? The FBI, right?
I don't remember.
FBI.
I don't know yet. I'm not that far in.
Oh, right.
I'm only 24 minutes in.
We don't even know he's a cop. Yeah, that's true. But the point is, like, there's something, like, they really bring in big guns for this. And I think that you make a good point in saying that there's a very good possibility that this exact thing was set up so that possibly Brian could get closer to all of it. Maybe instead of him getting followed home or whatever it might be, followed back to the car shop and them getting suspicious after the race. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit too elaborate for this to all be planned, but at the same time, it's also too elaborate for it not to be planned as well.
For every cop to be there, it has to be overly elaborate, but
yeah, I don't know, but that's what we got.
We got a bunch of people scattering.
We got a big old scatter. Yeah, I don't know. Was there any music when this happened?
I think there was some score, and I tried to Shazam it, but no dice.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just probably the generic Fast and Furious score. Yeah. Anyway, that is minute 24 of the Fast and the Furious. I think we're gonna. So the next couple episodes are gonna be pretty exciting. I think there's gonna be some stuff to talk about. But this is our scatter. I mean, this is a lot of action is happening visually. There's not a whole lot story wise, not a whole lot of these things. But I think the points you brought up were pretty interesting. And I still don't know where the heck in LA this is, but I do want to find out, because these streets are quite wide for LA streets. But yeah,
somebody
this
said
minute
in the
24
chat last week. It's near an airport, right?
Yeah, well, you can see in this shot here, there are airplanes on the left-hand side, but I don't know which airport it would be.
Good point.
It has to be some other small one. It's not like LAX. It's not Burbank, I don't think. I guess it could be, but I don't think it is. So I don't know where this is. I don't know where it could be, but yeah, it's out there somewhere. And I want to know how big these streets are.
Your mission is to go find it and then race your car down it.
That's probably not a good idea with my car.
All right.
but I'll do my best. But that is the minute 24. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're here watching live at twitch.tv/Danotage, if you want to see all the screenshots and you want to see the things we're talking about and pointing at, this is a good episode to do that. Join us over on youtube.com/Danotage. If you want to see all of our links and all of the details that come with everything that we're doing here, you can follow us individually at Overcord, at Danotage on all the different platforms. You can listen to all the audio versions of the podcast on this place, and then you can see the links to the visual elements as I've been talking about. Maybe you've been listening this far and you don't know how to spell Danotage, Danotage, and you can click the links when you go there. So go to danotage.tv/60second car, and that'll take you to our landing page that's got all the stuff right there and everything you can ever need. That'll have our email at 60secondcar@gmail.com. Send us some stuff. Send us some messages that have responses to some of our episodes. It doesn't matter which episode. Send it in and we'll talk about it and listen to it.
We want a video of you racing by the airport.
Legally
racing at speed limit.
Legally as you would possibly make it. We hold no responsibility for whatever happens to you and your car. But once again, my name is Dan. You can follow me at Danotage. You can follow Daniel over at Overcord, hosting Far Beyond Metal. And with that, we'll see you all next time.
Family.
Oh, it's Vin Diesel.